So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Prelims Powerplay. In this lecture series, we cover the entire year's important news items, important current affairs, important topics. Now, all these important current affairs or important topics have been divided into subjects and we cover each and every subject one by one. Okay. Now, topics are chosen based on their probability of featuring in your prelims examination this year. Okay, so we have carefully chosen those topics that have a high probability of featuring in your prelims examination. Now, currently we are discussing economics related topics of the past 1 year. Okay, and as you all know, if you have been following this lecture series for quite some time, that within the topic of economics or within the subject of economics, we have covered a lot of topics. Yesterday, we started with agriculture, okay? And we are going to continue with agriculture today also. Now today, in today's lecture of agriculture, we are going to be discussing 4 topics. What are those 4 topics? Well, number 1 is a rice variety that would tackle farm fires, okay? Rice variety that would tackle the issue of stubble burning, which causes air pollution during the winter months of North India, right? The second topic would be related to edible oils. Okay. The third topic would be related to livestock census. And the fourth topic would be related to NAMO drone Didi scheme. Okay. This scheme basically allows the usage of drones for agriculture. Okay. So these are the 4 topics that we are going to discuss today. So let's start discussing them one by one, starting with topic number 1, that is rice variety to tackle farm fires or stubble burning. Okay. Now the thing is that we all know that during the winter months in North India, starting from November, well, air pollution is a big issue. Now there are many climatic reasons for it. There are many geographical reasons for that. Okay. But one factor that is behind high levels of air pollution in and around Delhi is stubble burning by farmers. Okay, farmers burn the remaining straw in their fields en masse, and that burning creates a lot of particulate matter. That particulate matter, because the wind is not blowing during those months, so that particulate matter stays in the air, in the atmosphere, and that causes high air pollution, that causes smog, and that causes a lot of health problems. Okay. Now the thing is that governments have tried to persuade farmers to not to burn that remaining straw. But farmers have said that they don't get much time. They don't have many options. Okay. Now why do farmers make that argument? Government has provided them with many alternatives. Government says that please do not burn this remaining straw. Okay. Please do not do that. We will give you alternatives. You can sell this straw to us. You can use it as manure, you can use it as fodder for your animals, right? But still, farmers are reluctant to go for all these alternatives and most farmers go for burning the straw. Now, when farmers were not persuaded, government, well, basically tried criminal action, okay? Government tried to criminalize burning of straw. Still, many farmers burnt their straw, stubble, okay? This issue is not getting solved properly. And the answer basically lies in the farming technique itself. Farmers complain that they are left with little option. They are left with no option but to burn their fields because their livelihood depends on it. Okay, their livelihood depends on farming. Now, what is this issue all about? Okay, why do farmers say that they are left with little option despite the fact that government has given them so many options? Let's talk about that. Okay. So rice variety to solve farm fires. Now the thing is, currently farmers use a particular form of seed for growing rice. Okay. So farmers grow rice, okay, paddy, they grow paddy crop, and a particular form of seed is used for growing this rice. Okay. That particular form of seed is called Pusa 44. Now, the reason why farmers choose Pusa 44 is because it has high yield. Okay. This was a seed variety that was discovered in 1993 and given to farmers. Farmers, after using this seed variety, found that their yields have increased. Okay. Because of high yields, farmers' incomes increase. So most farmers in North India, Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, they basically opted for Pusa 44. They gained a lot out of it. They earned a lot of money out of it. Not a lot, but they gained, or basically they got a lot of yield. Yield means the amount of rice that they can grow from per acre land. Okay, so because of high yield, most farmers went for Pusa 44. But Pusa 44 had an environmental cost. Now, what was that environmental cost? Let's talk about Pusa 44. Okay, so most farmers use Pusa 44. Now, to know about Pusa 44, you need to know about Pusa 44 because, well, MCQs might be created out of this also. So, this seed variety was basically created by Indian Agricultural Research Institute, which is in New Delhi. This research institute, IARI, is also popularly known as Pusa Institute. That is why the seed created by them was called Pusa 44. Okay, and it was launched for farmers in 1993. Now, the best part about this seed is that it increased the yield of rice to 35 to 36 quintals per acre. Now, that is quite a lot. 35 to 36 quintals of rice can be generated using this seed per acre. Okay, but the problem with Pusa 44 is that Pusa 44 takes 155 to 160 days to grow. Okay, from the time of sowing its seeds in nurseries to harvesting the grain. So overall, it takes around 160 days to grow. Now the catch is that rice in North India is a kharif crop. Okay, that means it is sown during the monsoon season. Okay, so this rice seed is transplanted in mid-June after nursery sowing a month before and can be harvested only towards end October. So basically, this rice variety takes 160 days. So farmers sow it in June, that is the monsoon time, and they can only harvest it in end October. Okay, because it takes 160 days. And that is the problem. This is the problem that is causing air pollution. How? The thing is that in North India, okay, farmers are stuck in this monoculture of wheat and rice. Now, what is this monoculture of wheat and rice? Farmers use their fields to grow wheat and rice only, almost entirely. Okay, they grow rice during the kharif season and they grow wheat during the rabi season. Now, rabi season starts in November. Okay, sowing starts in November and harvesting ends at around beginning of April. This is the rabi season, which is used to grow wheat. Now, these farmers say that the rice we grow gets harvested end October. Okay, and we have to prepare our fields for wheat crop from November onwards, right? So we don't get that much time to prepare our fields for the new wheat crop. Their harvesting for rice ends in October and they have to prepare their fields for wheat in the beginning of November or at least by the middle of November. They don't have that much time to prepare their fields. And what do I mean by stubble? Well, stubble is that when you grow rice, okay, when you harvest that rice, the remaining portion of the plant after harvesting rice, the straw portion that remains, well, that is stubble. Now, to prepare your fields for sowing wheat, the shortest possible action available to you is burn the straw. So, farmers burn the straw because it will take a lot of time for farmers to basically uproot that straw from the ground. Okay, so they burn it. And the reason for burning it is because farmers have a very narrow window of harvesting rice and preparing their fields for wheat. Right? This is the thing. Now, if we can find a seed variety, as you can see, it leaves little time for field preparation to sow the winter wheat crop, which should ideally be done before mid-November. So most farmers then resort to burning the loose straw. Okay. Now the thing is, government has tried to persuade farmers to not burn Okay, not burn this stubble, not burn this straw. Government has provided with various alternatives to farmers. Okay, what are those alternatives? Options. There are some machines that are available on rent to these farmers, super seeders and happy seeders. What these super seeders and happy seeders do is they basically uproot uh, the straw, the stubble, and mix it with the ground. That straw can act as organic manure. So they convert straw into organic manure, which will improve the soil fertility for the wheat crop. Okay, so farmers can use this. Then government has given the option to farmers that you can basically uproot all of this straw and sell it to us. You will earn extra money on it. And when you will sell this straw to us, we will use it to make biofuels. So straw can be used to make biofuels. It can be used to make to generate power in generators. It can be used as fodder for animals. So government tried to give farmers with financial incentives. Okay, government tried to give financial incentives to farmers. So now in the greed for these financial incentives, farmers won't burn that stubble and extract it and sell it to the government. And government can use it for biofuels, power generation, fodder, plus some of this straw can be used as packaging material also. So it has some industrial applications as well. So government has said, well, you can use these super seeders or happy seeders to use this straw as organic manure, or you can sell the straw to us, earn extra money. We will use it for these things. These are the options available to us. But farmers are still not opting for this. Some farmers are, but not many. And the reason is that extracting this straw will again take a lot of time and by that time they need to prepare those wheat fields. Plus, these super seeders and happy seeders are not available everywhere. Plus, the rent is too high. Plus, if farmers are looking for buying these machines, well, these machines are expensive as well. So not many farmers are opting for this. Now, the solution is still there. What if we can find a seed variety that gives similar yield as Pusa 44, but takes lesser time to grow? Pusa 44 takes 160 days to grow. What if there is a seed which will give similar yield? So farmers are not scared, but will take less time to grow. So farmers have more time to extract this stubble and sell it. What if that is the case? Right? What if there is an alternative? There is an alternative. And that alternative is again a seed variety created by Indian Agricultural Research Institute. It's called Pusa 2090. So it is made by Indian Agricultural Research Institute by crossbreeding two varieties of rice, Pusa 44 and CB 501. CB 501 is a Japanese rice variety that quickly grows. That is why it is called Japonica variety. The Indian variety of rice is called Indica variety. So Indian rice is known as Indica. Japanese or East Asian rice is known as Japonica variety. So you have mixed crossbred Pusa 44 with CB 501. Now you have created Pusa 2090. Now the benefit of Pusa 2090 is its yield is similar, 34 to 35 quintals per acre, but it only takes 125 days to mature. So you have shortened the cycle or the growing cycle by 1 month. Now farmers would have more time to basically clean their fields with this straw and prepare for wheat crop. And therefore they won't set this straw to fire. And that would prevent air pollution, at least in North India. So alternative seeds can act as a solution. Okay, that is why government is promoting Pusa 2090. All right, that's the only information you need to know. Okay, that's the entire thing. But apart from this thing, Pusa 2090, you need to know about this institute also, Indian Agricultural Research Institute. So let's gather some information about this institute. So it is India's largest and foremost institute in the field of research and higher education in agricultural sciences. Okay, it is situated in Delhi and it is administered by Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Now, it was established in 1905 at Pusa, Bihar. That is why some people call it Pusa Institute, because it was established in Pusa, Bihar in 1905. Okay, but After a devastating earthquake, it was shifted to New Delhi in 1934. And since independence, it is called Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Okay, so that's the information you should know about as far as this PUSA Institute is concerned. Alright, and now let's quickly shift to topic number 2, which is edible oils. Now, what are edible oils? Well, sunflower oil, palm oil, soybean oil, these are different edible oils. And edible oils are used in almost every processed food you buy from the market. Edible oils are used in every restaurant that you go and eat, have your lunch or dinner or breakfast, right? Edible oils are used everywhere where they make food to serve to customers, right? Now, India grows a lot of edible oil, but India is significantly dependent on imports as far as edible oils are concerned. India grows a lot of edible oils, but India's population is also quite high. That is why India's demand for edible oils is also very high. And because India's demand for edible oils is very high, what happens? Well, because of this high demand, we have to fulfill this extra demand or satisfy this extra demand through imports. So when it comes to edible oils, India is a lot import dependent. Now, whenever international prices of edible oils rise, well, it puts a burden on our imports. It creates a lot of import burden. So that is problematic for India. Okay. And when international oil prices rise, okay, when international edible oil prices rise, well, it also causes food inflation in India because every food in India is made from edible oils, right? So we are facing two problems as far as edible oils are concerned. Problem number 1 is we are import dependent. Problem number 2 is we are vulnerable to food inflation and that vulnerability basically stems from international prices of edible oils, right? Therefore, the need of the hour is that India needs to become self-reliant when it comes to edible oils, because if India does so, well, then India would tackle its problem of food inflation, at least partially, because edible oils do cause or contribute towards food inflation. So the goal is to become self-reliant when it comes to edible oils. All right, so let's talk about this issue. Okay, so edible oils. Okay. Now, you see, the thing is that, like I said, edible oils, we need to become self-reliant. And the reasons for becoming self-reliant or why we need to become self-reliant is because we are import dependent. To reduce our import burden basically, and to reduce our vulnerability to food inflation. Now, you need to know basically that edible oils are created from oil seeds. Okay, so sunflower oil seed, soybean, these are all oil seeds. When you crush these oil seeds, you create edible oils. Then you refine them and sell them in the market, right? So oil seeds are grown in India's farmlands. So from oil seeds, you create edible oils. Now, if you really want India to become self-reliant when it comes to edible oils, you need to increase the production of oil seeds in India. More and more farmers should grow oil seeds in India. That should be the goal. All right. Now, as far as edible oil situation in India is concerned, you need to be familiar with a few facts. So let's talk about those facts, okay? Most of them have been discussed already. Any which way, India's situation when it comes to edible oils. So India's edible oil imports are significant, with about 57% of country's needs being met through imports. Now that is a significant import dependency, okay? Now we import palm oil. Palm oil is the largest imported edible oil, followed by sunflower oil and soybean oil. So remember this. They can ask you a question. Which type of edible oil is imported the most by India? Palm oil, followed by sunflower oil and soybean oil. And which countries we import these edible oils from? So sources of these imports, we import a lot of palm oil from Indonesia and Malaysia. You have to remember this. We import a lot of soybean oil from Argentina and Brazil. And we import a lot of sunflower oil from Russia and Ukraine. Okay, and recently because of Russia-Ukraine war, supply of sunflower oil globally declined. And as you know, when demand is high, supply falls. Well, prices increase. So internationally, prices of sunflower oil increased, and we are dependent. We import sunflower oil, so our import burden also increased. That is when we realize that we need to become self-reliant when it comes to edible oils as soon as possible. Okay, the high level of imports can affect domestic refiners and farmers. Now, the thing is that India is concerned a lot about food inflation. We don't want food inflation to be high. And because we don't want food inflation to be high, well, we control the prices, or we make sure that edible oils in India are available at low prices. Now, most of edible oils in India come from imports. So therefore, we do not charge that much duty, custom duty on edible oils, so that edible oils can be imported in India easily. The prices remain low, food inflation remains low. But because we are not charging custom duty, okay, these edible oils that are imported from abroad are available for cheap in India. Now that really hampers our domestic producers, because domestic producers are facing stiff price competition from imported edible oils. If India applies high duty on edible oils, then imported edible oils would be expensive and domestically produced edible oils would be cheap. What would people prefer? People would prefer to buy from India, right? That would reduce our imports also. That is why India increased basic customs duty on imported oil. Plus, to encourage more and more farmers to grow oil seeds, because like I said, if you grow more oil seeds, then only you can become self-reliant. India increased MSP on oil seeds as well. Clear? Makes sense? Now, to promote this self-reliance even more, India launched a mission called National Mission on Edible Oil and Oilseeds. Okay, it was launched for a 7-year period from 2024-25 to 2030-31 for increasing oilseed and edible oil production. Okay, the main aim is to expand edible oil cultivation by an additional 40 lakh hectares. That is why you have increased MSP. Okay, the benefits would be India, first of all, would become self-reliant. Then it would also lead to crop diversification. Why? Like I said in the previous topic, most farmers in India are stuck in this monoculture of wheat and rice. Wheat, rice, repeat. Wheat, rice, repeat. You need to extract these farmers out of this trap, right? Because if farmers are stuck in this trap, their soil is also becoming more barren. If you really want your soil to be fertile, you need to go for crop diversification. Now, farmers do not go for crop diversification because it doesn't give them that much monetary returns. But by increasing MSP on oil seeds, now more and more farmers would be incentivized, okay, incentivized to grow oil seeds. That would lead to crop diversification. That would have a lot of environmental benefits, soil benefits, right? And farm incomes would also increase. So it's a win-win situation basically. Clear? Make sense? All right. That's it as far as edible oils are concerned. And now let's quickly shift to topic number 3, which is livestock census. Okay. Now, what is livestock census? You all know what is census. Okay. Census is basically a head count of the number of people living in India. Okay. Now, in that head count, you gather some extra information also. You are not just counting the number of people in India. You're also gathering some extra information. For example, how many males are there, how many females are there, how many people are high income, how many people are low income, which state has higher number of males, which state has lower number of males, sex ratio, okay, sex ratio at birth. All these things are calculated when we conduct this census. Now, we also conduct livestock census, animal census every 5 years. Like people census, population census is conducted every 10 years. Livestock census, okay, animals that are basically bred by people, animals that are domesticated by people, right? Cattle, poultry, fish, not just fish, sheep, goat, right? These are domesticated animals. So we conduct a census of domesticated animals every 5 years. Now recently, 21st livestock census was being conducted. That's why it was in the news. Okay, and that is why we are discussing it. Now, we need to know just some basic information with respect to livestock census. We don't need to know what were the results of this livestock census. That won't be asked in your prelims paper. Only questions related to what is this livestock census, which ministry releases it, which animals are surveyed, that would be asked. Okay, so let's gather some information regarding that. So yeah, livestock census. So some information with respect to livestock census. Well, remember this part. It is conducted every 5 years to carry out a head count of number of domesticated animals, poultry, stray animals in the country. Now, this process of conducting livestock census is a colonial era practice. Okay, it started in 1990. And so far, 20 livestock censuses have been conducted. The 20th one was conducted in 2019. And in 2024, we are conducting the 21st livestock census. Okay, now the census is carried out by Union Minister for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy. Now, as far as this 21st census is concerned, well, the ministry has announced that information on 16 animal species. Okay, these 16 animal species, each animal has different breeds also. So we are basically surveying 16 animal species, 219 breeds. That is it. Okay. What are these animals? 16 animals: cattle, buffalo, mithun, yak, sheep, goat, pig, camel, horse, ponies, mule, donkey, dog, rabbit, elephant. Okay, so these are basically domesticated animals. Clear? Now, besides these, census will also carry out head count of poultry birds. So poultry birds would also be counted. Now, the census this time will be fully digitized. Okay, just remember this fact. The first livestock census that was fully digitized was 2019. 20th livestock census, and the 21st livestock census, which was conducted in 2024, was also fully digitized. So remember this part. Okay, fully digitized. Now, what is the importance of conducting livestock census? First of all, livestock sector is an important sector as far as India's GDP is concerned. Therefore, we need some information on that, right? Livestock sector contributes 30% to agricultural GVA, gross value added, and 4.7% to the overall GDP or GVA. Okay, so it contributes significantly when it comes to India's GDP in general and agricultural GDP in particular. Okay, data from the census will be used to estimate GVA from the livestock sector. So this data will be used to estimate the GDP of livestock sector as well. Plus, the data from the census will be crucial to track progress of certain sustainable development goals also. Like these domesticated animals also give us some food products. For example, milk is extracted out of cattle, okay, sheeps, and all these other domesticated animals, poultry, they also give us food items, right? So zero hunger is a sustainable development goal. So through this livestock census, we gather data with respect to that. Plus, there are many other sustainable development goals which can be achieved only if we have good data on these domesticated animals. Okay, so these are the three benefits of conducting regular livestock census. All right, that would be all. And now let's quickly jump to fourth news item, and that is NAMO drone Didi scheme. Okay, so NAMO drone Didi scheme. Now, what is this NAMO drone Didi scheme? So there are many women self-help groups in India. Okay. Now, government will help these women self-help groups to get drones. Okay. Now, these are the drones that are used in agriculture for spraying pesticides, for spraying fertilizers. Okay. Drones can be used in agriculture also. These are specialized drones, but there are drones that are used in agriculture. Now, government will provide drones to these women self-help groups. These women self-help groups can use these drones to give to farmers on rent. Okay, so government will facilitate these women self-help groups to buy these drones. Okay, government will provide a subsidy or whatnot. And women self-help groups might use these drones for themselves or rent it out to farmers. Now, what is the advantage of this scheme? First of all, women empowerment, because government is giving these drones to women self-help groups. plus generating an additional source of income for these women self-help groups through rent. Government is also promoting usage of drones for agriculture. That would make our agricultural practices more efficient. So this is advantage number 2. And because agricultural practices would be more efficient, well, it would generate more incomes, not just for farmers, but also for women self-help groups, right? So to encourage the usage of drones in agriculture, side by side enabling women empowerment, government launched this NAMO drone Didi scheme. Okay, so let's talk about a few features of this scheme and its advantages quickly. Okay, so yeah, NAMO drone Didi scheme. Okay, so what are the features? So basically it is a central sector scheme. Now remember, in India, all central schemes, government schemes, are divided into 2 parts. Central sector schemes, centrally sponsored schemes. Okay, now remember, central sector schemes are those schemes that are 100% funded by central government. And centrally sponsored schemes are those schemes that are partly funded by central government, partly funded by state government. Okay, generally the ratio is 60-40. 60% of the funding is given by center, 40% by states. Okay, but in northeastern states and some underdeveloped states, the ratio can be 90-10 also. Nonetheless, the expenditure is shared in centrally sponsored schemes. But when it comes to central sector schemes, well, 100% expenditure burden would lie on central government. So remember, NAMO Didi scheme, NAMO Drone Didi scheme is a central sector initiative aimed at empowering women-led self-help groups, providing them with drone technology for agricultural services. The goal is simple: equip these self-help groups with drones, enabling them to rent their services to farmers, particularly for applying liquid fertilizers and pesticides. Okay, the impact, what would be the benefits of this? Generate additional income for these women self-help groups, contributing to their economic empowerment, sustained livelihood generation, right? Now remember, this scheme was launched in 2023 and it was launched by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, not family welfare, farmer welfare. Okay. Now under this scheme basically offers a subsidy of up to 80% of the drone cost. So these women self-help groups just have to go to the market and buy these drones. 80% off will be given to them because that 80% expenditure would be done by central government. Okay. With the remaining amount financed through loans from the Agricultural Infrastructure Fund at low interest rate. So 80% subsidy, okay, and the remaining 20%, well, you can get a loan for that at very low interest rate, okay, from Agricultural Infrastructure Fund. Clear? Now, what are the benefits of using drones in agriculture? Why do we need to use drones for agriculture? You need to know that also. So the advantage of using drones for agriculture is, well, this. First of all, most of the times farmers manually apply pesticides. Now these pesticides are dangerous. If farmers inhale or ingest these pesticides above a certain threshold, well, they can get a lot of, or well, it can create a big health crisis among farmers also. Now, if you apply pesticides through drones, well, farmers would be protected against these pesticides. So this would protect the health of farmers. So this is good. Okay. Plus, applying pesticides and fertilizers through drones would also lead to efficient application, lead to less wastage of fertilizers and pesticides. Less wastage would mean that farmers would save some money because they would have to use less fertilizers and pesticides, because a lot of it used to get wasted earlier, but through efficient application, less would be wasted, less would be used, less cost. Okay. You can use drones with cameras for crop monitoring also. You don't have to every time go to your farm fields. Okay. You just can monitor them through drones, emergency application. Now, if you'll use less fertilizers and less pesticides, well, then it would have environmental benefits also. Because in many areas, too much fertilizers, too much pesticides are basically harming soil health and causing water pollution in nearby water bodies. So that would be there. Plus, you can use these drones for other things as well, like seed ball bombing. What is seed ball bombing? So what you do is you take soil, manure, some seeds in it and create a ball. Then you attach that ball with the drone and then you drop that ball in a barren land. Okay. Now that ball also has seeds in it. Okay. Now this technique is used for afforestation. Okay. In a barren piece of land, you just drop these seed balls. Okay. These seed balls also have manure, also have seeds. So these seeds are sprouted. Okay. These seeds are planted and well, it leads to afforestation of an area. So drones can be used over here also for afforestation, and it has happened in Hoshiarpur, Punjab. All right. That would be all. With that, we conclude today's session, and with that, we also conclude the agriculture portion of economics. Now we are just left with one lecture from economics in this Prelims Powerplay series. After that one lecture, we will start with other subjects as well. So don't worry, I will cover all the subjects before your prelims examination. Clear? Alright then. That would be all from my side, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time with other topics as well. Okay? Other topics in this series called Prelims Powerplay. Thank you, everyone.